Hello bros, Sylveon strikes again. Sylveon got to receive a buff against its Hyper Voice because the area of effect has been increased but the damage has been lowered. And also when you hit by the Hyper Voice, you are slowed by 30% to your movement speed. But first, let me tell you my build bros. The build that I'm currently using is the choice specs for the damage of your Hyper Voice, and the next one is the Wise Glass for increasing more on SP attack, because combined with the Calm Mind, you have absolutely perfect, and the passive of Sylveon is really pretty good with this build. And the last build that I'm currently using is the Slick Spoon for SPA attack, defense penetration to your enemy. Here bros, you will see that the Hyper Voice is really pretty good, and make sure that you hit your Hyper Voice to the outer part range of your skill, because if you hit in that particular area, you will deal more damage than in your inner range of your Hyper Voice. So here bros, you will see that you should just keep your distance when you are using your Hyper Voice to the enemy, and also to counter that juke, you need to move closer to the Hyper Voice in order for them to not deal any more damage, and also you can move forward in order for you to be not hit by the range. So here, as you've seen, that even I've got been 3v1, I can still defend the goal pretty easily, because the Hyper Voice is also very good at defending the lane. And make sure bros that when you're using your Hyper Voice, you need to proc your Calm Mind in order for you to deal more damage, and also this will increase your movement speed and SP defense, and also SP attack, which is pretty good to Sylveon. You can also try the Hyper Voice or Draining Kiss combo, but I did not use that yet. But I'm using the Calm Mind first, then I will try the Draining Kiss in the in the future video. So here, I'm just farming here because the jungler did not farm his jungle, so I will take this. And also bros, take note that when you're using your Unite move, make sure you hit multiple opponents in order for you to gain more HP, and this will damage the opponent. So here bros, you just need to use the Hyper Voice and X speed forward, and as you've seen, the damage is really pretty incredible. Here the opponent is using the Hyper Voice and the Draining Kiss, so make sure that you should not move closer to him or fight him in a one-on-one fight, because once you've been Draining Kiss, he will be more bulkier than you, because the Draining Kiss is very good in one-on-one battles, so avoid one-on-one battles against that guy. So here, as you've seen, his Draining Kiss is really good, especially he has Breezy. He will heal him, which is he will be immortal in that particular fight. So of course you can win the battle, just use your range when you are using the Hyper Voice, and make sure you hit the range at the part of the Hyper Voice. So here I'm just playing defensively and going to the bottom lane in order for my team to get the objectives, and I'm helping the bot also because they are pretty crowded there and they're losing the battle. So it is a perfect time that I invade here. And also take note bros, the battle item that you really need to use is the X speed, because X speed is really good combined with the Hyper Voice. In order for you to reach the opponent, you just use your Hyper Voice and X speed forward, and make sure you maintain the distance, not too forward, because if you're moving too forward, the damage is very low. I repeat, if you move too forward, the damage is very low. Just make sure you hit your Hyper Voice at the outer range of your range Hyper Voice. So here I'm rotating at the top lane again because the top lane has been dead. So I'm just moving around and using my Hyper Voice to defend. So here, as you've seen, I'm not scared because I have my Unite move, and as you've seen, I hit the multiple opponents up there, which means that I will gain much HP, because if you hit the opponents like two multiple opponents, you will gain HP recovery. But if the enemy has shield, you will not gain any HP of it. So also bros, use the farming efficiency when using the Hyper Voice, because your range is more wider now, so you can farm the opponent, I mean the wild Pokemons, using farm efficiency just like that method. So here I'm just using my Hyper Voice again to keep my distance as always, and here, as you've seen, I'm using my teammates and I'm not going inside because I have a team. So it is important also to use your team in order for you to win the game. So here I'm just keeping my distance and using my Hyper Voice at the outer range of my Hyper Voice. So here we're pushing here because we're here now and the enemy is in the top, which is pretty perfect to push around here. So but the enemy uses the Hyper Voice here, so we've been dead here and it is time to get back here because we can't do anything here because we don't have enough damage, and I died here because Mimikyu will unite me here, but it is not necessary, but he will unite me here. So here as you've seen, I'm pushing around here because I have my unite move. So if you have a unite move, it is okay to push because you will gain the regen health if you hit multiple of opponents. So it is pretty good to push there because you have a unite move. So here I'm just using my time to refill my unite move, and also if you have the upgraded of Calm Mind, the upgraded Calm Mind is very good because you will gain shield for 3 seconds when you've been hit by the moveset skills. But if the enemy is using auto attacks on you, you will not negate that damage and you will not gain shield. So here I'm just maintaining my distance and using my Calm Mind, and as you've seen, I'm just circling around to my defender, using my defender as a tool in order for me to get more damage and also defend my team. So it is important to use your defender when you're using Sylveon because you need to be at the back of your defender. You should use your team in order for you to win the game, and also you need to help your team. Even it is a solo queue, it is important that you gain the trust of your team because once they don't have trust on you, it is GG. So here as you've seen, I'm just pushing around. I'm not scared even they are here because my Hyper Voice damage is really pretty good if you just maintain your distance and using your Calm Mind. So here I'm just pushing around and I'm buying time for my team to finish the Rayquaza, and that's GG for them. So if the game continues, I will gain too much damage here, but in my last game I gained 139k damage, but here I just gained 114k damage, which is not pretty bad. So that's how you play Sylveon, bros. Thank you, bros, and I hope we reach 20 likes again. Thank you and stay hydrated as always.